Christmas, baby. Yes. Yes. Do you feel it in the air, ladies and gentlemen? It's Christmas time. Time of love, a time of giving, a time of looking in your neighbor's eye and saying, what do you need? Do you need any help? It's Christmas time. Oh, by the way, in a couple minutes, I got to give you some information of an event going on Saturday. Remind me, Magic Mike, when I'm and when I finish with this story, to remind me to make that announcement. A great event going on for free. They're going to have a gift giveaway for kids, so I need you guys to hear about this. U.S. jobless rate for blacks and teens surges in November. Let me read to you a little bit of the article. The unemployment rate for two U.S. groups that are often the most vulnerable to job loss in a softening economy, blacks and teenagers, surged to the highest levels in more than 4 years in November. Labor Department data showed on Tuesday the jobless rates for blacks hit 8.3% in November, the highest reading since August 2021, after standing at 7.5% in September, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. The rate for teens shot up to 16.3%, the highest level since August 2020, and 13.2% in September. First of all, let's start with the teens. Every single Republican, myself included, every single conservative, myself included, told you that as you pushed up and demanded higher minimum wage rates, you would push teens out of the job market. If you're going to get paid $15 to $17 an hour to flip burgers, you push the teenager out because an adult, a family, a mother, a father with children would take that job because it's a good paying job and you're only flipping burgers. So as you guys rallied and pushed all over the country for higher minimum wage rates, every single conservative said, well, you're going to impact disproportionately teenagers. And according to this article, it says the unemployment rate for two U.S. groups that are often the most vulnerable to job loss in a softening economy, blacks and teenagers. So if you impact teenagers, you're going to impact working class and lower class African Americans. It's going to happen. Because what's going to happen is if McDonald's can hire someone at $17 an hour, they're going to take someone that wants that job, predominantly a mother or father. And a mother and father will take those jobs because it's paying a lot of money. Who do you push out? The person that barely has a GED. When we look at the concentration of numbers, you're looking at teenagers and African Americans. Now, we dispense with that. Now let's go to what people said when Trump had the lowest black unemployment rate. They credited Obama and Biden, right? When Trump had the lowest African-American unemployment rate before Biden went a little bit lower in his administration, but when Trump's administration the first time around had the lowest black unemployment rate ever, they gave all the credit to Obama, none to President Trump. You skip ahead to now, he takes all the blame. When Biden's economy blew up, how do you blame him now? Why don't you use the same logic and say, well, it must be the Biden administration and the after effects of that bad economy under Biden? You don't do that. Why not? But this is even more important to say, because the people who are pushing this black unemployment rate rising and blaming Trump and blaming Republicans and blaming racism, let me point something out to all of you. The only people pushing that are Democrats because they lost the African-American vote in 2024. They saw the drift. Now, many people will come to you and tell you, African-American women, we stayed strong. We supported Kamala Harris. But it was still lower than normal. Remember, only 87 to 88%. There was only 87, 88% turnout for of all the black voters that exist. 87, 88% turned out for Kamala Harris. It's usually 92 to 93%. So you lost 4 to 5% with black women for Kamala Harris. Democrats will never admit that, but behind closed doors, they talk about it. Black men, 24, 25%. That's huge in a close election, particularly in swing states. So Democrats need to push this narrative that Trump's racist, Republicans are racist, they don't care about black jobs. But they do. You made these jobs go away. You caused this. Because just like you gave all the credit to the previous administration when Trump came in and had the lowest black unemployment, I've got to use that same logic that Democrats used then to say it's Biden's economy, which is impacting now. And Trump's just simply trying to fix it. Same logic. I'm consistent. But here's another thing going on, my friends. It's also showing something that only Shelley Winter will say live on the air. Because I'm fearless, and I don't care what you think of me. The fact of the matter, this also shows something that nobody wants to talk about, particularly Democrats, particularly liberals, and more specifically, black leadership. It also shows quite possibly that many of the jobs held by African Americans were jobs that were not tied to the bottom line, particularly when you talk about corporate America. Yes, I said it. When you're just handing out jobs because the economy's good and you're handing out titles and handing out jobs, well, what's going to happen when the economy, tightens? Oh, well, those jobs will go away because you didn't need them in the first place. Twitter is a perfect example. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, he had massive layoffs. Everyone said Twitter was going to go under because of all of these cuts. What happened? Twitter got stronger. This is what you're seeing now, and nobody wants to admit to it. Let me give you a word of advice to African-American leadership in the Democrat Party and the pastors who go out there and scream and yell racism at every chance they get. Talbot Swans, Jamal Bryants of the world. Let me let you in on a little secret. There was a great book written, Getting Black Folks to Sell. Years ago, I read it in the 70s. My uncle had this book, my Uncle Ralph, rest in peace. And I read it in high school. It was a small pamphlet. And it was called Getting Black Folks to Sell. And the gist of the book was talking about as African Americans started moving into corporate America in the early 70s due to affirmative action, many of them were being moved into HR and community affairs and jobs that did not apply to the bottom line. In other words, they had no cost benefit to the bottom line. And this book was written by an IBM executive vice president, and he was talking about if you go into a corporation as an African American in particular, and you have no ties to the bottom line, there's no value proposition to keep you when times get tough for that corporation, for the economy as a whole. And this is what we're seeing now. When much of that inflated unemployment rate was due to DEI and handout of jobs and federal jobs and things like that, when the economy contracts, those people go. Now, the big term that Sharptons of the world will use is last hired, first fired. Well, that could be true, but you'll never get fired if you're part of the bottom line. Your head is always on a block if you're just there to fill a slot because you check a box. That's what's going on here. Don't blame Trump. Blame the corporations that went on hiring binges because they had white liberal guilt. The Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back. Yes, thank you, my friend. The Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back. My good friend, Orrin Checkmate Hudson, is having an event on Saturday. It's going to be a great event. It's going on this Saturday, the 20th. It's going to be held at his chess center. You know, Orrin is a chess guy, 949 Stevenson Road, Stone Mountain, Georgia, 30087, 1 to 3 on Saturday. It's a gift giveaway. So if you got some people in your neighborhood, if you got some coworkers, if you know someone right now going through something economically, maybe it's an African-American friend who's now part of this jobless rate. You want to make it to 949 Stevenson Road, Stone Mountain, between 1 and 3 on Saturday. They're doing a gift giveaway, and then he's also going to be taking kids, bring your kids, because he's taking them through strategic leadership training through making the use of chess, teaching kids chess on how to stay out of trouble. So that's going on this Saturday from 1 to 3, 949 Stevenson Road, Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know, Orrin's been on the show several times, and this is a gift giveaway. So if you're in need, make your way to 949 Stevenson Road between 1 and 3 on Saturday. And that way you can get something for the kids if you can't afford it. Take advantage of it. This is the Christmas season. And a lot of people, including my friend Orrin, Checkmate Hudson, these are people that are doing the right thing. God bless him and all the others who are out there doing what they can. We'll be right back. It's the Shelley Winter Show. When we come back, I'm going to tell you what I expect to hear Trump talk about during this address tonight at 9 p.m.
One warm December, our hearts will see a world where men are free.